Hey guys, this is Learning Target 13, Zero Product Property, and we are still dealing with our quadratic equations that are in factored form, still working with factored form here. And I think you'll notice that this topic, the zero product property, is not necessarily a review, but it's been underlined in the last 2 or 3 weeks that this process has been kind of implied in some of the Zoom meetings and also in just kind of the thinking in the videos and the practices that we've been doing. I think you'll know what I mean once we get into this, and we'll kind of revisit it at the end just to make sure you guys are good with it. So basically what the zero product property says is, or what it does is, it's a way for us to find solutions to an equation that is in factored form. And remember, solutions happen at the x-intercepts. So they happen when the y value is 0, when the output is 0. And then the other thing that we've known since early elementary, anything multiplied by 0 is going to be 0. The result will be 0. Doesn't matter how many times you multiply things. If there's a 0 in one of the multiplication pieces, the output would be 0, the answer. So let's use that to our advantage. So a couple examples here. The first one, we've got x plus 3 multiplied by quantity x minus 7. So the two zeros here, and really this example we could do probably just in our head. We don't really need to show it, but just for the purposes of this, we're gonna. But yeah, what value for x would give us an output of 0? We can see it would be -3, because that would turn this quantity into 0. And then the other solution would be +7, right? Because that would turn this quantity into 0, and then hence the output would be 0. But like I said, just humor me here. We're going to show this using the zero product property. So we're going to take our two factors and we're going to set them both equal to 0. And we're going to solve them just like we would solve any equation, right? So get rid of our constant. So then our x would be -3. That would be one solution. And again, that matches what we thought it should be. And then this one right here, we would add 7, and again, our other solution would be +7, which is what we wanted. So really, essentially what we're doing is we're setting this equation equal to 0, right? And that's the zero product property says, as long as I can turn this into 0 and turn this into 0, the entire output would be 0. Okay, so let's take a look at maybe a more complex question or problem example. So, okay. We've got our equation in factored form. We set it equal to 0, and we know by the zero product property, as long as this is 0 or this is 0, the entire output would be 0. So we have two possibilities here. First one, our first solution would be x equals 5. And again, that matches what we think it should be, right? That would give us an output of 0. And then our second one here, maybe you can see it, maybe not. Let's just solve it. Oops. So 2x equals -3. Divide both sides by the coefficient of x. So x would equal -1.5. 3/2. Okay, so then that would be our other solution right there. So just setting this equal to 0 is going to give us the solution that we want. Okay. All right, so maybe try to pause it, try that one. What if the a value is not 1? What if there's a number out front? You can try to pause that and give it a try. All right, so let's give it a go. You might be asking, well, do I need to distribute the 2? Well, I don't know. Remember what the zero product property says. If it doesn't matter how many numbers we multiply, we've got a factor here, we've got one here. It doesn't matter how many times we multiply. If one of these is 0, the entire output will be 0. So it really doesn't matter. I mean, you could multiply this out and you'll notice you'll get the same solution. You'll get the same x value because everything is being multiplied by the same number. So you could try it if you wanted to, but really you don't need to. Actually, you really don't even need to worry about that too. You would just do this the same way. So this would be x plus 10, set that equal to 0. And so then obviously that would be x equals -10. All right, so that would be my first solution. And then set this one equal to 0. Add 5 to both sides. 4x equals 5. Divide both sides by 4. X would equal 1.25, 1.25. All right, and again, you could, plug that in to make sure that it does work for you. But those would be my two solutions for that one. So that is the zero product property. Go ahead and give the practices a try. Thanks, guys.